new Giants manager, Tony Vitello. It's a pleasure to be able to introduce you that way, Tony.
Thank you.
How you doing?
It's still awkward to hear it that way, but as the days go by, getting a little more comfortable with everything, and this is certainly a part of the experience. Didn't know what to expect, but this is eventful.
Yeah, welcome to Winter Meetings. Welcome to the big leagues, like I told you.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. This is a different animal than SEC Media Days and that whole thing. But when Buster Posey called you, were you like, wait, do you have the wrong number, Buster?
Well, originally our conversation stemmed around our players we had at Tennessee, whether it was through the draft or trade stuff. So it was already interesting, I guess is the best way to say, talking to a guy that's in his category. But then from then, when the first text came across about, hey, give me a call, I kind of had an inkling what it was about, and there was a lot of different emotions.
How much did you drop little hints different times that you had talked? Like, it can't be completely out of the blue. Like, man, I'm going to go and call Tony.
Yeah, no, I think originally it was, but there maybe was one closer to that time where we were sharing ideas about how we see baseball, but more importantly, how you would like your team to be portrayed on the field. And I think, it all seems seamless to me because you acquire Drew Gilbert because you like his intensity. The questions they asked me about Gavin Keelan were more about, is this guy as competitive as, the other guys you've had in your program or what you want? And then kind of started to pick up on some hints that were being dropped there as calls got closer to that whole deal.
You've only been doing this for what, a month now? A month-ish?
It was October 22nd was the day where.
Month. What's been the biggest thing besides this? The media, have you been overwhelmed by anything? Players, meetings, phone calls, anything that's just been like.
I think the biggest thing when I left Tennessee or was about to, I thought everybody would be in a better position. I mean, I like that I get some credit for it, but it was a coaching staff there that was pretty special that helped players get better. And the elements are at Tennessee to win, regardless of who the head coach is, to be honest with you. But the guy I thought was most suited for it was the guy they gave it to, Josh Elander. And so I thought everybody was going to wave by and say good luck and things would be great. And it got a little tumultuous there for a little bit. So just getting through the old job stuff and onto the new job stuff was heavy. But since then, it's more exciting than anything. I mean, right now, everyone walking around this hotel is 0-0. So there's nothing to be too depressed about.
I've got one for you from a historical perspective. This is essentially a first, right? For you to jump over to take over a major league team like this coming from the college ranks. Your job is to win games for the San Francisco Giants. But do you feel any type of onus to perform for the next Tony Vitello to be able to make a jump like this and say, hey, there are some super talented managers that should be managing at the major league level, and we should take more bits and pieces from that?
I think a bigger just trading back and forth in general, whether it's ideas or personnel or people or, technology now, like it or not. I think the more seamless it is, the better. And the more likely it is to occur more often. There's already been some coaches, obviously, whether it's strength coaches or pitching coaches that have, made the jump, if that's what you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's all baseball. It's all competing. I know the big leagues is way different. I'll have to hit you up sometime. You made the mistake of giving me your number.
I know. So, I'm happy to do it. I'm not going to tell you where I got your number from, though.
But I know how competitive you are. And the game you played is baseball. So, yeah, as you get to a higher level, some of the things should increase, like talent that's on the field. But for the most part, I think the more seamless it is, the better off everybody is.
Did your players in college call you coach?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Did your players in college call you coach?
Yeah, V was often. But, yeah, coach. We were playing Auburn. Sonny DeShera was SEC Player of the Year. And was competitive on the field back and forth, and their guys started yelling at me and saying Tony. And I took offense to it. I grew up in a household where my dad, was a disciplinarian, and I thought Bob Knight, when he got fired, it was for the wrong reason. Some kid said, hey, Knight, to him, and he grabbed him on campus, and that was the last straw. So I think I know what you're getting at, but that game in 2022 is where I came to grips with the fans and the other team's players call me Tony. So I'm good with whatever you want to call me, as long as, it's relatively respectful and it's going to help us win games.
Okay, well, you kind of alluded to it, because they're not going to call you coach anymore, and sure as heck have never met anybody that they call manager. So it might be Skip or something like that. But what I was going to get to was, is there anything that Buster Posey has said, look, I saw you do this in college, you can't do it here? Or is he letting you be who you are? Like everyone we just talked about with somebody else, crowd surfing. I think we were talking to Tori Lavello, saw you crowd surf, and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to crowd surf at some point this year. So, like, is there anything that Buster said, hey, pump the brakes on this? Or has he said, go for it, I trust you?
No, and I think if that came up, it'd be worthy of a debate upstairs with all the people that are meeting of whether that's appropriate or not. In that moment, I guess self-defense coming up or defending myself is when you are competitive, you hamstring yourself so much when it comes to enjoying victories, because you're always on to the next thing and you're guarded and karma and all that BS. And that was a moment where there was no more games to play that season. So I was like, the hell with it. I'm going to get my money's worth. So if that were ever to occur again, maybe that would happen. But for the most part, the group it's been a collaborative vibe, and it's definitely been a be who you are type of deal. So I think that theme will stay consistent as long as nothing gets too crazy.
What year was that?
2024.
That after you guys won the World Series?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm a Gator fan. So fuck
Sorry. They've had their share of success.
Yeah, you've kind of ruined it for them. But that leads me to my next question. Like, I watch a lot of SEC baseball, obviously being a Florida fan. You've been known to go at the other teams a little bit, whether good, bad, however you want to. You can't do that as much now. Are you going to be able to reel it in, your emotion and your fire that you have? You can't be wearing fur coats and doing the whole daddy hat.
I don't. That was not my idea.
I know, but you can't be doing all that.
I
stuff.
want all of that.
No, I agree, and yeah, that's another moment post, championship or whatever. They threw that on me without my doing, and I'm not too big of a fan of that stuff, but it's part of the game, and I think I had to adapt to what the players were starting to do, and to be honest with you, I don't know that I could adapt to some of the things that are starting to go on now at high school level and at college levels to an extreme. So I've kind of got my own set of values, but I'm going to lean on people that have been in the big leagues and ask them what's a little corny and more suited for college and what's more appropriate for and I think at the very least, the respect level I have for the best players on the planet, because as a recruiting coordinator, you're always in awe or appreciation of a guy who's good. Well, these are the best players. And then just walking around here, I don't know. Maybe I got to make an adjustment. Shaking hands with guys like Pat Murphy is awkward to me at this point.
All right.
I've got one for you on players. So from what you can share, what's the most interesting thing a player has said to you so far on your current team, right? Like something on a phone call. And then the follow-up also is, how do you approach talking to Rafael Devers? I've known him for years.
Yeah.
He felt hurt from his situation last year. He's with a new spot. This is a chance for someone manager-wise too, not from San Francisco, but from Boston, but manager-wise to come in here and be like, yo, you're my guy. Got you for whatever, 7-8 years. This is the plan.
Yeah, no, with a little bit of excitement as far as talking to Devers and also following Gilbert's lead. He and Drew became close for whatever reason. So
I could
that
see
guy's
that.
a madman, by the way.
Yes, he is. But, getting to know each of those guys is exciting for me. I'm pretty fired up about the diversity that exists in big league baseball. I've become an avid traveler. It's my hobby, which is probably foolish because recruiting and playing baseball, you're flying as is. But I'm excited about that part about as much as any. And then talking with the current players as far as Giants, do you want to go get a drink? You talk about the 24 championship or other moments. There were a lot of times and a lot of invitations to have more fun than I actually did have. But when you're in college, you have a different representation of the program and who you are. And so, yeah, one of the first guys I ever met was over a drink, and it was a good conversation, and getting to know those guys is something I'm, again, excited to do.
Are current big league managers too boring?
I don't think if you meet them in person.
No, on the field. On the field.
Yeah, not again. A lot of my experience is watching the playoffs. Our guys we're so wrapped up in what we're doing in college baseball. You don't get to see game 83 in the middle of the summer, what necessarily is going on. But I think back when I grew up, the managers were like Bobby Cox, Whitey Herzog, Dave. Those are guys you would almost just as likely have a poster on your wall of those guys as you would a player. I think there is a little bit of a missing chunk there between who those guys were maybe in today's game. And that's just an observation as a fan, and hey, maybe I was just a lot younger back then and looked up to those guys even more than I look up to some guys now.
Okay, before we let you go, I have two quick things. One,
okay.
Max Scherzer, I asked him about you. He said you're the best, so I'm sold because I love Max.
I appreciate that.
If he gives me a good endorsement,
and he's pretty critical.
He's very critical. He can be very critical
and opinionated.
Yes, also, and he gave you a good endorsement, so I have to respect what Max is. And then I brought this up earlier. You walked out with Morgan Wallen. It had to be one of the coolest things of all time. I signed with Tennessee out of high school. I never went there. I signed out of high school and went to the minor leagues, but I'm not a volunteer fan. So now you have a different shade of orange. Will you throw all that ugly-ass creamsicle orange out, or will you actually keep some?
Well, the first thing my dad said to me was how much gear they have. They're a little upset about it. I've already sized up. I've got some items where the orange kind of meets in the middle, and I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so I'm hanging on to that stuff. And then, I'm going to be cheering for those guys.
They had to go get Geralman from Florida.
I know. Chuck and I work together at TCU, and I'm happy for him and his family. I think he'll do great things there, but just a lot of close ties with Rick Barnes, a basketball coach. I'm super excited. They've got a newer coach with women's basketball. So I was in love with the place and still am. Sorry to relay that.
Sorry, it's fine. It's a beautiful place. I'll say it.
The country music's good no matter where you're working.
True.
One last quick one for you. Will you wear your College World Series ring in the presence of big leaguers?
I've never worn it. I don't know when that time will come that I will, but I've never worn it. And with the moving boxes, I first got to locate it, and then we'll put it somewhere in a condo. And one of those days will come, but it's a long way from now that I put it on.